Okay, guys. So I'm going to just give you a walkthrough of my appreciation log that I use. Somebody said, I don't know if it was Jim Watt or somebody else, that appreciation is like a passcode into the presence of God. The Psalms, right? It says, I'll enter into your gates with thanksgiving. I'll enter your courts with praise. So while that was physically true back then, there's still that principle of when I'm in a place of high appreciation, my relational circuits are on. When my relational circuits are on, the part of my brain that feels that connection to God is more um, able to connect with Him, connect with anybody, but especially Him. And so appreciation, when I can't do anything, when I can't connect, it's almost like I can bootstrap myself into a place where I can sense the presence of God. Progressively. It's almost like it's not like an on or off switch, it's like a dimmer switch. And so sometimes, just if I start telling the smallest of appreciation stories, it gives me a little bit. If I can share the appreciation story with somebody else, it gives me a little more. We have the power of combined appreciation. And then I can just keep layering another cycle around the pathway until I'm actually changing what's going on in terms of my brain chemistry, my brain function, which part of my brain is actually in charge. And it takes a ton of practice. Simple, but extremely difficult. So this is one tool I use among many. I've already had a bunch of people adapt. This is actually adapted from some of the Thrive Life Model Works tools, and I've just put it in a way that it works for me. So some of the questions, if you've done Thrive, you'll recognize. And then certainly all the principles come directly from Thrive. So there's nothing new here. It's just done in a format that works for me. Okay, so I'm going to share my screen and find this document. So here it is, just to kind of give you a big picture. I'm actually going to work through and do one here. So here's my appreciation story log. Just a bunch of boxes with different questions to help me out. I can send this to you in a Word format, and you can change it to whatever you want to do, however you want it. Just put a day and date. I try to do one of these a day, and I keep them in a 3-ring binder that I have over here. I just print out a bunch of these sheets, and then I just kind of do it. It's a new journal page every day. And title I put at the end. So see number 7 down below. So don't worry about that for the second. So I'm just going to type on this. It's going to mess up the formatting, but I'm not so worried about it. So it is Wednesday, January 3rd. And I'm going to think of a situation. So oftentimes I'll just kind of ask myself, like, what's something that comes to mind? What's something that happened to you that you appreciated, that you would like to mull back over, almost like a family photo album. If I were flipping through pictures from this last week or from today, or what's something that comes to my mind. Yeah, I think I have to think about yesterday as Anne's birthday. Breakfast pops in my mind. And so briefly describe the situation. I just want to give just enough content here to jog my mind, to kind of reload the image. Again, I'm not telling this as a story to somebody else, but I just want to kind of get, like, this is the just the facts, ma'am part. So I'm going to say that this is more when Anne said what she wanted for breakfast. Anne said what she wanted for birthday breakfast: a waffle and a piece of bacon and a sausage patty and a fried egg. That was it. It was the night before her birthday. How did I feel in this story? Gosh, as I watched her, take ownership of what she wanted. I felt tickled. That'll be the word that comes to my mind. I felt tender. I felt felt close and connected to her. How did I feel physically in my body? So this one, the number 2 question, is about feeling, kind of how did I feel emotionally? Remember, as you're doing this, this is, this goes around to different parts of your brain, right? So the story side, the left side of the brain, as I'm just describing, here's a description. Ask myself how I feel. I triggered this sort of this feeling center, the lower part of the brain, the right part of the brain. How did I feel physically, getting in touch with my body? I'm just sewing the whole picture together, get my brain to work all as one, my prefrontal cortex in charge of everything. So I felt warm. Trying to recollect now. How did I feel physically when she started listening? So let's see. I felt I felt my cheeks. Felt like when you eat a sour candy. That's what comes to mind right now. I just kind of got that tickly sensation. Yeah, some tingling in my shoulders. And then that little feeling, just like a 1 on a 1 to 10 scale, like maybe I could cry out of tenderness toward her. Right? It's a kid on her birthday. How could you not be tender? So, all right. So, how did I feel? Is my tickled, tender, close, and connected to her? How did I feel physically in my body during the story? My cheeks felt like when you eat a sour candy. I wanted to smile, right? Laugh. So this is the next question. What did I do? What actions did I do? What responses did I have? Or other reactions in this story that demonstrate what is it like me to do? This is a question you have to think about a little bit more. It's sort of like, how would I typically react in a situation if I were really being myself? And then the caveat here is, if I did not act like myself, again, this is a Thrive question. If I did not act like myself at the time, how would I like to have done this? How would I like to have acted? So I really feel like I did act like myself. I smiled. I looked into her eyes. I laughed like I did now. I laughed. She smiled back. I smiled bigger. We held each other's gaze. I mean, you can see even now as I'm telling the story, this is the appreciation doing what it does. So this is the appreciation is the passcode, right? And this is where we enter the gate. So how did you feel about me? How did you feel about me? Asking God, how did you feel about me? How did you feel about this? I'm just going to take a second. Again, I'm doing this in real time, like the guinea pig on my own experiments here. How did you feel about me as I did this, as this was going on? Tender. He felt tender toward me, felt proud. Grateful. Like I picked a good dad. This precious daughter of mine. I could camp out here a little bit longer. How did you feel about me? Mm. Yeah, kind of this dual sense of him being like Anne's grandfather, because he's my father, but her father at the same time. And so I sense him behind me and I sense him beside me. He's in love with her. It's funny. It's not he's not answering. I don't sense this answering. How do you feel about me? It's how do you feel about her? ah, truly made something beautiful when I made Anne. So, how did you feel about me? This is kind of spills over. I'm just going to kind of go to the next question. Anything you want me to know? And one question, this one really flows out of the next one. So don't get hung up. Don't get hung up on this, but anything you want me to know. I'm just going to listen again. I know how much you love all your kids. I know you are worried about Allie. I see the fear you have. Like you have lost Allie and you're going to lose Anne as well. I have not lost either one. I have not lost you either. I know exactly where you all are. And there is room for pure delight. Don't be afraid. Don't bring fear into their worlds. And don't be afraid, even if you do. Mess. Yeah, so how did you feel about me? How do you feel about this? Tender, proud, grateful. Like I picked a good dad for this precious daughter of mine. I feel a lot of affirmation from God. I truly made something beautiful when I made Anne. I just feel his delight. You just feel so delighted in her. Anything you want me to know? I know how much you love all your kids. I know how worried you are about Allie, it's Anne's older sister. I see the fear you have, like you've lost, as if you have lost Allie. And you're going to lose Anne as well. I have not lost either one of them. I've not lost you either. I know exactly where you all are, and there is room for pure delight. Don't be afraid. Don't bring fear into their worlds, and don't be afraid even if you do. The last piece I have on this sheet is pick a word or a few words to title the memory. This will help draw back the totality of the experience. This is another Thrive trick. So again, nothing new under the sun here. If I were to name this, it's simple. I mean, it doesn't have to be complex. It's just something that brings me back. Anne's birthday breakfast. And so I'm going to call it Anne's Delightful because I just feel like this word delight is really important here. Anne's Delightful Birthday Breakfast. And then just for reference for later, I'm going to go up and I'm going to go ahead and pop this title in here. And that's it, really. And that's the sheet. And you can see There's a lot you could do. I go ahead and go into the presence of God in relationship to this memory. The last thing I have on here is a bonus. Tell this story to someone today. Or if the story is about this person, write that person a note and tell them. So try to keep these stories to less than 3 minutes. This is more Thrive stuff. As you tell the story, make eye contact. Include your feeling words, your body sensation words, and how you like to act in the story. Not only will you make someone's day, you will also strengthen your capacity for emotional resilience in the face of stress and challenges. So if I were to tell this story again now, I'll just, you can stop the video if you've got everything you need. But I'll say, as an appreciation story, which was just an appreciation story, now it's an interactive appreciation story where I sense God's presence in it, is I was appreciating Anne's, as we were preparing for Anne's birthday breakfast. So I was talking to Anne. I'll stop my screen share here real quick. I was talking to Anne, and I asked her what she wanted for breakfast. And she told me that she wanted a waffle, and she was smiling because like her birthday was in her mind. Like, tomorrow's my birthday. I want a waffle, and I want turkey bacon, and I want turkey sausage. And she does this like when she talks. And I want a fried egg. She loves fried eggs, hates scrambled eggs. And as she told me this, I felt really proud of her. I felt tender. I felt connected to her. I felt really warm, and I was sharing joy. The body feelings, again, like I had a big smile on my face. I felt in my cheeks like that compared to like when you eat like a sour candy and you're just, your cheeks hurt because you're full of emotion, and tingling down my spine and just tenderness. And I almost wanted to cry because of who she is and how much she matters to me. And my body, just warmth. And what did I do? I smiled and I just held her gaze. I looked in her eyes and we shared joy together. And then I was asking the Lord about this appreciation, maybe about how he felt about me. And I not only felt like he was proud of me as a dad, I also felt like he just delighted in her. I could sense how much he was proud of himself for who he has made her, and how delighted he is in her. And as I asked him what he wanted me to know, I sensed God saying, Matt, I know this is so important to you because you're afraid. You're afraid you're going to lose her. Like you feel like you lost your oldest daughter. And then I sensed him saying, I know where Anne is. I know exactly where Allie is. I know exactly where you are. I've not lost any of you. So don't be afraid about people being lost. Don't lay that on them. And then if you do lay it on them, don't be afraid of that. Just live, just love them. Okay, so that is how I use this tool. I hope this has served you well. And I look forward to doing this together when we meet as a group.